since I didn't get to see y'all yesterday morning, I have to do my original, hey y'all, glad you're here, welcome home. I had this whole talk planned out, had it written out, and then I listened to Marcus Aceta. Yes. Marcus, thank you. And I thought, you know what? I can't do my talk. I've got to go off of his talk, and I've got to talk about how to keep the home fires burning. Well, ladies, there are two things that men like.
Ooh, okay.
One of them's food, and the other one involves very little clothing. So that's two things that'll keep the home fires burning. But I'm going to share with you a few other things that I think might help you. Marcus talked about, let me back up a minute. First of all, I'm the youngest of three. I'm the child of a king. I grew up in an awesome family. Parents were together forever. I was the baby, so I was spoiled. I got everything and anything I wanted. All I had to do was blink and say daddy. I have two awesome children. My greatest lot in life has been being their mom. And Spencer, I'm so sorry, but it doesn't fail. For every year, conference always falls on his birthday. So happy birthday. Going back to Marcus Aceta, there are three things that he said that you can do to become successful. And that was to pay attention, to get excited, and not to quit. And I was sitting there thinking, I think I can just rewrite my whole dadgum talk and put all that in there and it'll work. So I think to keep the home fires burning, there are a couple of things that I pay close attention to. And one of those would be my commitment. Andy and I were married on June 20th of 1987 at high noon, and on that day, we committed to each other not to quit. So see, there it goes what Marcus said, never quit. Have there been days I wanted to quit? Yes. Have there been weeks I wanted to quit? Yes. Have there been months I wanted to quit? Yes. Have there been years I wanted to quit? Yes. But did I? No. And people always ask me, they're like, what is your secret? Like, do you really live with him? Like, y'all are truly, honestly, y'all are married. Like, you got a certificate and everything. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, how do you do it? I said, we never quit on the same day. Never, ever. There were days he wanted to quit, and I'd be like, well, you can quit today, but I'm sorry, not my day to quit. I quit yesterday. So that's one thing that has kept us together, is that we never quit on the same day. To keep the home fires burning, what does that mean? Well, the meaning of it actually goes back to the war times when the men were away fighting war and the woman was left at home. To keep the home fires burning meant she took care of everything on the home front. And you warriors out there who fought for us, Jake, Belle, Marcus, all of y'all, thank you. Because keeping those home fires burning is not easy. And when our children were younger and Andy was out building the business night after night after night after night, and I was at home, Haley was probably about 6, which put Spencer at about 3. One of us, not me, decided we needed some goats. And at this time, we didn't have the money to afford the proper kind of fencing to keep the goats in. So Andy would leave town, and the goats would know it, and they would get out and go up to the church and eat all the flowers at the church. So then the church lady that I call, church lady, calls me and says, I think your goats are out again eating the flowers. And I was like, okay, I'm coming to get them. So I had Spencer on my hip, Haley by my side, and we go walking up the church to chase the goats back home to a fence that they're not going to stay in. I did say if he ever got goats, that might be my signature on the papers. Well, I think there's goats at the cabin. Is there not? I think there's goats at the cabin. But, point made, they're in a fence now that we could afford to put up to keep them in. So keeping the home fires burning when the children were younger, I did everything. Andy didn't pump gas, he didn't change oils in cars, he did nothing to do with the house. The septic tank backs up into the shower. Y'all know what a septic tank is? So if it backs up, that means backed up. Took care of all of it. And then even today, during all this, I'm back there calling the guy because I was like, our heat's not working at the house. And I was like, you got to get that fixed. We're coming home tonight and it cannot be cold. So, even now you still take care of those little details. I didn't quit. I cried a lot. I cussed a hell of a lot. I prayed a lot, but I worked a lot. I did everything I could to make it easier for him. I delayed gratification, which means I didn't need the new clothes. I wasn't in front of the people like he was in front of the people. So when it came time to purchase clothing, not all of it, but he was priority. It wasn't me. I think he's still priority today if you look at... He has a closet here. He has a closet at home. He has a closet at the cabin. And he has 2 closets at the beach house. And I don't think there's any room in any of them. But I'm glad he can do it. I paid attention to that commitment that I made to him 35 years ago. We have honored that commitment through sickness. I'm a cancer survivor of 30 years. We've honored that commitment through hurt. We've honored that commitment through losses, great losses. We've honored that commitment through gains. We've honored that commitment through highs, and we've honored that commitment through lows. When we had been at our lowest of lows, we would always look and there'd be 3 people there, me, Andy, and God. When we were at our highest of highs, there's always been 3 people there, me, Andy, and God. My first secret to keep that home fire burning is learn how to honor your commitments. I'm speaking from a perspective of a supporting spouse. Living with a winner isn't easy, but living with a weenie ain't either. Another thing that I think is important to keep the home fires burning is communication. Because often there seems to be a lack of communication, and the most dangerous thing that there is for you to think it was communicated and it wasn't. And your boy Albright lives dangerously. But he lives smart enough and works hard enough that he could hire a Missy to help with that. Missy, wherever you are, thank you. She has saved our marriage on multiple times, and she has saved his life probably more. Thank you, Missy, thank you, Missy, thank you, Missy. Communication, too, to me, is not just listening, thinking you're listening, not being on your phone, not looking at something, but I want you to look at me when I'm talking to you. But sometimes I'll tell Andy, I need your eyeballs. Then that way I know you're really listening to me. And gentlemen, sometimes, I know you don't want to hear this, and Andy probably don't want to hear it either, listen to their gut feeling. Because I would say more often than not, my gut feeling about things has been right more than it has been wrong.
That's right.
I can tell you that when communication is good, the fire is really burning, just so you know. Keeping the home fires burning means you have to pay attention to your worries, your wounds, and your wrongs, and be willing to forgive, 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 and forgive. Did I say forgive? Be willing to forgive over and over and over and over and over again. forgive. I don't always understand what Andy's doing or where he's come from or who gave him this idea and why would you think that would be smart and what the hell are you thinking? But I've always trusted him, and that's big, always. To keep the home fire burning, I think I'm always humble enough to know where I came from. My background was I taught school until I was pregnant with Haley, and then I wanted to be a full-time mom. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So I haven't taught school in 27 years. So I always try to remember those times. And then when Andy was building the business, I cleaned other people's toilets to have money for groceries because I didn't want to keep going to the grocery store and her telling me that credit card was declined. Did I have another one? So I cleaned other people's houses to have cash flow while he was building the business to pay for the groceries. I'm grateful for a husband that's not scared, who isn't lazy, who isn't afraid to take a chance, who's not scared to tell you what you need to hear, and who's not scared to make changes in order for things to change. My outward face and my posture doesn't always show my excitement and gratefulness for all that Andy does, but my heart will always overflow for his ability to finish and to finish strong. My prayer for all of you is that between this weekend and Sunday afternoon when we finish, is that you will learn to keep the home fires burning by paying attention, by getting excited, by never quitting. My goal for you is to experience the peace of mind and the plenty of money that comes with sacrificing in the short term to gain what you can have in the long term. I'm grateful for each of you and what you mean to me. I'm grateful for the friendships I have established. I'm grateful for the relationships that I have lost that have taught me lessons along the way to be a better friend to you. Thessalonians 5:16-8. Rejoice always, pray continually, and give thanks in all circumstances. I'm thankful for you, and I want you to go get your piece of this pie. Remember, get excited, don't quit, and know that we love you. Thank you.